Hello, friends and lovers. Welcome back to Hades 2. The technical test still, but it is winding down, but we're going to get into that in a minute. While we got a run start here, we'll kind of just talk about the status update of the technical test in Hades 2, early access, etc., etc. I kind of got a specific run in mind. We'll see how it works out, though. We're going to put on Zeus's keepsakes. That way we can guarantee a boon from Zeus. It can get overridden by both Selene or the hammer still in Chamber 1. We don't know. But Zeus would soon be offered after that. Anyway, we can kind of go over the rarefied thing that's going on with these god keepsakes too, hopefully. Okay, we did get Zeus offered right away. Let's hop into it. My cloud bangle. I've realized that I haven't, probably in like the most recent videos, I haven't probably discussed the game as much lately, and B, those videos are actually all recorded from quite a while ago. Like, a lot of them are sort of my first impressions of different gods, boons, weapons, keepsakes, etc., 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 which all happened really within the first 2 or 3 days of trying the tech test, but it's been about 10 days since recording them, so we've definitely gone a little bit further ahead. If you look at my save file, I have over 200 runs started on the technical test. Meanwhile, we've only shown, I don't even know, 15-ish, not even, on the actual YouTube channel. So here I can probably catch you up on some things that I do or do not know, perhaps, you know? Anyway, let's talk about what's going on here. So what we get is blah, 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 a boon from Zeus. There we go. Now we can rarefy a common boon. Our keepsake is only rank 1. So I can't increase the rarity of the attack here, but I can increase the rarity of all the commons. Now, if you rank it up, you could do rares into epics. If you rank it up to rank 3, you can do epics into heroics even. So you can start with a heroic boon from a god. So we can rarefy Thunder Sprint, which I like a lot. Your sprint causes nearby foes to be struck by lightning bolts, which use 3 magic each. I think it's a very, very strong dash. It has a very short span of time in between the different thunderbolts, 0.15 seconds, right? Poseidon has a really, really strong dash too. Possibly stronger, but I don't know. I showed a lot of Poseidon lately, so I was like, well, let's do something different here. We'll show the thunder. Maybe we can get something specific going on. There are lots of like tier 2 boons to showcase, but it's hard to specifically go for them. But who knows? Maybe we'll try to. Maybe we'll make something happen here. So the technical test, let me fill you in what's going on. Supergiant Games did specifically announce that the technical test is coming to an end. That's right. This Monday, and probably the date of the upload of this video right now, the technical test is ending in some shape or form. I don't know if it's going to be night, morning. I don't know what time. It's supposed to be unavailable on Steam after that point, though. And the exact quote for when early access will launch is simply relatively shortly after that. That is verbatim what they have stated. So no, I don't know when that is, if it's going to be the same day, the same week, or even technically the same month. I don't really know what they mean by that short of a period of time. Judging from how quickly the technical test went, though, which they said could have been up to a month, most likely less than that, though, from how they were talking about it. Something tells me it's going to happen pretty soon. I don't think you'll be winning a month. If I were to guess, if I had to be a betting man, if you're going to force me into a corner here, I'm thinking it's going to happen the same week. I'm thinking it's going to happen the same week. That's total conjecture. I have actually no clue. I don't have insider information. Good luck to you. In case you don't know, early access means that it will be available on Steam in particular, perhaps on the Epic Games Store too. It will not be on consoles. Early access means that it is sort of a limited game that will get regular updates, but it's not a fully finished game. We'll take whatever boons we can get here, of course, right? I'm mostly just dashing around and just bonking them with my attack here. But yeah, we'll take whatever boons we can. Probably throw something on the attack. Demeter's Freeze boons are pretty strong. Woo! We've actually done quite a few speedruns of the technical test, mostly just because, well, A, it's a fun game to speedrun already, I can tell you that much, and B, because there's not a whole lot to do in the technical test, as you can imagine. With only one biome, there's only so much that we can do to work with it. I'm still super excited for the future. I don't really blame the shortcomings of the technical test anyway about the game. I guess I can give my opinions about certain things on it, though. Welcome, Demeter. Welcome. Whoa, they want me to swap into an epic frigid sprint, which no longer costs magic. It's actually a really solid dash, I think. I think it's pretty good. Your sprint forms a cyclone around you that lingers after you stop. It's a giant AoE. It looks kind of like Demeter's Call Boon from Hades 1. And it deals 8 damage every 0.25 seconds. Cyclone is a vortex that makes foes 20% slower and their range shots 60% slower. Lasts for 3 seconds. Yeah, it lingers at... So it follows you around and then it just kind of lingers in place. I don't know how much I've shown it on the channel here now. We've done so many runs, but not every run has been shown in the tubes, of course, right? I mean, you got Tranquil Gain to try to get back your magic for the dash afterwards. I don't think Frigid Sprint is going to impress anyone here, but that's not really my favorite magic regeneration boon. So we can visit Arachne to get an outfit. We can get a Hestia boon. I'm not loving Scorch at this moment. I think Scorch just requires something else to make it feel very good. Otherwise, most other boons kind of just feel better with such a short run at our hands. Let's see. I kind of just... We don't care about something like plus 60 armor. I do have to take a death at the end of the run. I guess we'll explain that when we get there. The magic regen is actually very nice here, though. We don't really care too much about channeling. Not at this moment. There's not a big reason to use channel magic, waste our magic on channeling when we want to use our dash mostly to consume our magic. You know what I mean? I have no uses for any of these resources on the technical test. But nevertheless, I can't help myself. I gotta pick them up. You know what I mean? I gotta pick them up. Can't help myself. Our save files are not going to carry over, by the way, between the tech test and early access. As to why that happens, I'm not really sure. We got max magic, a random boon. We did skip the mini boss, so we're not going to get that. I guess I didn't really say this, but the rarify from the keepsake is gone. So we can't be guaranteed another Zeus boon, and we cannot rarify another Zeus boon. I'm still gonna take a random boon. Hey, more Zeus. We might be able to get a tier 2 here. We did get a tier 2 offered. We did. These are the most exciting thing that you can find at the tech test because they're kind of hard to get. It's kind of hard to get 2 boons from the same god. You know what I mean? Your lightning bolt effects may strike one more time, plus 5% chance. Oh, they did my boy dirty. Oh, no. Yeah, it's obviously way, way less than in Hades 1. It was an incredibly strong boon in Hades 1, I would say. Zeus was incredibly strong in Hades 1, period. I can kind of understand why it's less here. However, it seems a bit hefty at a glance, but who knows? We don't really know how far it's going to go. I actually do think Divine Vengeance is a very good boon, especially for such a short run where you can expend your health easily, right? I think that actually deals 100 damage is like a lot in these times, you know? Plus, sometimes they strike more than once. It was incredibly strong, I think. But double strike sounds like more fun here. Can we agree? Don't really need that health. We're only down 7. Doesn't matter. These are all meta currencies. Don't care about them. So what do I think about the game so far? How's been my experience with it? Honestly, I couldn't really ask for anything better. There's some like small things here and there. You know, I guess I'll tell you what the biggest overarching thing I'm hoping that they can accomplish by the end of early access. But right now, honestly, they've exceeded my expectations even more than I could have guessed. Just because I feel like they're really trying to take the game in a familiar yet distinct direction, you know? There's obviously a lot of things held over from the first game, as you'd expect, but they've also tried to set it apart. Namely, with the dash and the sprint, the magic bar, some of the story and the lore and the setup and everything like that. I really feel like they've made something a bit more distinct, so it's not just going to feel like, you know, a bloated DLC or something like that. I honestly feel like this will feel like a very distinct game on its own. So I definitely really appreciate that as someone who played the crap out of the first game, right? I really appreciate that I'm not going to be forced to essentially play, you know, thousands hours more of what could have felt like the same game. Now, having said that, I think there's some things where I guess you could say, to use a strong word, I could be more impressed by, / I am disappointed by, and it's the return of some of the boons from Hades 1 that we know and sometimes love. You know, some boons from Hades 1 have made it in the game. There are some hammers that are extremely familiar in terms of their effects from Hades 1 as well. I think those are the major things where we see these repeat mechanics. And I was personally hoping for, you know, just as much distinction as possible. The more different, the better. Even if it's not technically my preference in a sense, I think I would just at this point in my Hades career, whatever you want to call it, I would prefer different than just trying to make it better per se. But I'm not the majority of people, so that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the right thing to do, you know what I mean? Zap, 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 zap. That doesn't mean that that's what they should do. That's probably not what the majority of people want. People love to see things returning potentially. I can only imagine. Ooh. Ooh, 5% extra double strike chance or 5 more damage on the sprint itself. Oh, that's actually kind of tough here. I don't know. That's a 100% increase, right? Huh. That's interesting. That's a 20% increase, right? I don't know. I'm kind of convinced by double strike, but I'm thinking, is 5% just still too low anyway? I don't know. Let's go for double strike, though. Sounds fun. Sounds fun. We're all in on the dash. I mean, the big thing, though, is that this is what we're seeing right now. This is pre-early access. We're going to have a long time for them to shuffle some things around, potentially get rid of some placeholder effects, art, boons, who knows? We don't really know how much is a placeholder and how much is, you know, they plan to really keep this in the game. Not to mention, maybe there are things that they did plan to keep, but depending on what players say, you know, they're willing to change as well. You know what I mean? It's not always just up to me either. It's up to what the majority of players think. All right, this is it. That's the end. Oh, I can't afford anything. That's too bad. I was hoping there would be a palm here, basically. Could have gotten the free max health, but I was hoping for a free palm. There we go, though. I don't think, like, this build would go very far if we had to go past Hecate. I mean, we didn't get much, right? We got 3 boons and a palm. You know what I mean? No hammers got offered to us. And this can happen a lot in the technical test, which is part of the reason why a lot of runs didn't end up on YouTube, because a lot of runs wound up like this, honestly.
Hold nothing back against me here, Melinoe.
Having said that, I do think the strongest possibilities reside in probably Poseidon's on-hit effects. They're just like, that's a lot of damage to tack onto your attack, especially if you're rapidly hitting. The splash damage is just very, very strong. I think it's definitely gonna be up there at a glance. I can throw down the cast. It doesn't actually matter, though. But yeah, there's nothing that I specifically like, oh, I don't like this about the game. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people ask me, what do I think about the sprint versus the dashes? And I don't dislike the sprint. You know what I mean? It's too early for me to say, would I rather have the 2 dashes back? Because, again, like I said earlier, what I care more about is just it making itself distinct. Whee! Alright, so we do have to get ourselves murdered here. If I win again, the game will simply crash because there's a play test, a technical test even, and they try to lock you out after 5 wins. I couldn't tell which way she was facing. They try to lock you out after 5 wins, at which point your save file becomes redundant. But you can die as many times as you want. There's actually a ton of dialogue, even after like 5 runs. Like I said, I'm over 200, and I still have dialogue that I haven't gotten totally. Okay, we stand still for a bit. Do. Excuse me, my friend. Hecate. I guess if you don't know about this, 1, 2, just dodge. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It takes about 7 dashes back and forth. However, if you get hit at any point during that, you're in grave danger of kind of losing it all. So you have to somehow manage to avoid being hit and avoiding the sheep fall all at the same time there. It's pretty lenient, except like I'm saying, like just dodging all the different things all at once, it's pretty hard to actually do it. But in terms of just dodging the ball, they don't make it too crazy. So 7 dodges is kind of a lot. Do, 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 do. Are you actually getting hit? No, you're not. What about you? It's you. There's a few tips as to finding which clone is the real one. And it's namely around... Oh, right, I do have to die. Oh, I'm out of magic anyway. Send me back. If she has a voice line while the clones come out, there will be a little speech bubble above the real one. If you ding them with a ranged attack, it'll obviously show a damage meter. There's a speech bubble right there for a half second. I think that's about it. Maybe there was another clue that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about Hades 2. I'm just super excited for it. You know what I mean? I really am. I can't wait. I really can't wait. It's going to be big. It's going to be great. They've definitely set us up to have, you know, our expectations exceeded. I get a lot of questions like, do I think it'll be better than Hades 1? Is it better than Hades 1? Do I like it better than Hades 1? Am I happy with, you know, there's a lot of that stuff. And I mean, I'm certainly willing to entertain the questions, but it's just so early to answer these subjective opinion questions about the game. All I can say is that I'm like incredibly excited to play it. I can't wait to show everyone and to break the game wide open, of course, every possibility. But it will take time. It will take time. There's no doubt about that. Here, what the heck did I want to show you? There was something I wanted to show you back at the house here. I don't remember what it was though. I'll have to remind myself what it was. I guess I kind of want to show the Arcana setup here because I don't talk about it a lot in the recent videos, at least. Here, we'll kind of talk about it. So, I'm very excited, and I definitely plan to show a lot of the game, and I'm not honestly positive how I'm going to show both progress and yet, you know, like end game things all at the same time. I don't know if I'm going to have to, like, a specific series that slowly shows our progress through the game, you know, like literally one run at a time. And then on the side, I'll have, you know, more advanced ones, because what happens with that slow progress series is that it's going to get like really far behind quickly. You know, it doesn't take long, you know, because usually we're doing dozens of runs a day, but I can usually get one to YouTube per day. You know what I mean? So it would take weeks to catch up for that. And so I don't know. I'm thinking about it still. I'm not really sure. We're gonna probably have to wait in the moment, but the truth is we're probably gonna have to jump ahead at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? We're probably gonna have to jump ahead and just, you know, skip over a bunch of runs. But of course, maybe we can kind of show the progress towards whatever story conclusion they currently have. They might have literally nothing. I have no idea, but they probably have some hints and stuff. I would like to be able to show some of the story progression and talk about it in some way. But yeah, I don't know if you got any comments or questions, or if you have, I don't know, just what you want to see in terms of how the runs are going to progress. Feel free to let me know in the comments. Let's talk about the Arcana thing here. So supposedly there's going to be, I don't know how many cards, maybe 15, I heard. There's going to be more cards than just the 9 that we have here right now when early access cometh. There's a lot that could happen here, and I'm really curious how they're going to work it out. I don't know if they're going to let us upgrade individual cards like this so that the numbers just go up. Maybe. I don't know if they're just going to give us a lot more cards than what we see here. I don't know if there's going to be multiple sets of cards, like different decks and everything. There's a lot of possibilities here. So I just upgraded our Grasp, and your Grasp determines how many Arcana cards you can have activated at once. I have way more Grasp than is actually necessary to activate all of the Arcana cards that are available in the technical test. So everything is on right now, and I'll just quickly tap through them basically, and you can pause if you're interested to read them individually, but they all just do a variety of things between health and damage and dash and death defiance. And the big one here is Centaur, which I think a few people don't totally understand yet, and it took me, honestly, unlocking it to fully understand it here. So it is an awakened card, or rather, maybe you could say a card that has an awakening. So the effect is, you know, every 5 locations, I keep calling them chambers, you gain +3 health, max health, and +3 max magic. I cannot turn this off. Normally, you can turn off a card as much as you want. However, I cannot turn off the Centaur on its own. It turns itself on when you activate one of every cost, 1 through 5, essentially. Yeah, not just essentially, quite literally. So if I turn off this 1 cost Grasp card up here, it is still on. However, if I turn off all of the one-cost grass cards, that's when it turns itself off. So there's some interesting play here where you might, like, for instance, for a speed run, we wanted to turn off the Centaur and to reduce our max health so that we can use this specific keepsake, Artemis's keepsake, which gives you a crit chance if you have low max health, basically. So we wanted to turn this off so we don't gain more max health. So in order to do that, we had to A, turn down our max health by turning off the Titan, and B, we had to turn off the Death Defiance, and then that way the Centaur would turn off. That puts our max health at specifically 30, which is exactly what you need, but we have no Death Defiance, so we're making sacrifices to make this happen. But it's an interesting dynamic. It's very glass cannon-y in order to let us use this keepsake consistently. Now, of course, you could just kind of switch things up and start off with more max health and find a way to, you know, just take some damage and get it down to a low point and try to just keep it there, and then maybe get armor to keep yourself safe, blah, 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 blah. But just having it on right away in Chamber 1 is honestly quite powerful, at least from a speedrunner's perspective here. But yeah, I'm really excited about the Arcana cards and to see how they're all going to work. And are there going to be multiple Awakening cards? You know, I have so many questions and I don't really have any answers yet. But yeah, very excited for the early access. This is probably going to be the last technical test of video until we do get early access, just because I don't think there's really a ton more that I could show you here, and I don't want it to get too redundant before the main feature comes out, you know what I mean? But I'm always open. I love the crazy theories everybody comes up with as to what the game is going to have, what everything means, you know? A lot of people have some fun things around the go up here with the question mark, and so if you got any fun ideas, I'm welcome here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got questions about myself, the playtester, or Hades 2, make sure you let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal, and I'll see you in the next video.